on my computer. Okay, so you can install Python software from this website, https://www.python.org downloads. You can select the latest version, python.org. So you can go to downloads and so all releases. So Python 3.64 is the latest version, and Python 2.7.14 is the legacy version, and 3.3 is stabilized in the industry. So if you want to download anything, any version, you can look at from this and you can download. Okay. So what I suggest, you can download the latest one for this is for practicing, right? So all the features you can learn.
Okay.
So this is where you can download 3.6.4. You can download and install. Okay. So if you are using Windows 10 and you have to set the path environment variable, you have to set basically. So you know how to set the environment variable or path. Basically, you can type here environment, edit the system environment variable, and click on environment variable, click on path, then edit. So you can create a new one. This is the directory where my Python is being installed. So see Python 35, I installed 3.5. So there is much difference between 3.5 and 6. So I've been teaching 3.5 only. So this is the directory where I included here in the path. You can also include the corresponding directory name, and you can click on OK and then OK. Then you are all set. So that means you can install Python from any directory for that matter. Say for example,
Then this is not necessary to we have a one directory only, right? We can have n number of directory, right?
yeah, you can have a number of directories. I have 3 directories, D, E, and etc. I have E also. So I can execute Python. So that is being, so this is a Python shell. Okay. So it displays the version number, and here I can type my Python programs, in fact. So the simplest program is print hello world. Immediately that is executed and the result is displayed here. So this is Python interactive shell. Okay. So you can write, you can type a program. Say I want to calculate area of rectangle. L is equal to 10, breadth is equal to 20, area is equal to L multiplied by breadth, and then print A. I will get the result. So I can write a small program here as well. But the only disadvantage is if I want to re-execute, I have to retype all the statements. That is the only thing. Okay. So this way you can execute a Python program or in the interactive shell. So there are 3 ways you can execute Python programs. One is interactive shell. Okay. And interactive shell is mostly useful for testing certain features of the program. If you are not sure what is the output of a statement, you can go to the Python shell and you can type the statement and check how it is working. That is one thing. And the second thing is PyCharm editor. This is the editor where you can type the program. This is a PyCharm editor, and run the program from here itself. Say print hello. If I execute, this is a green triangle button. If I click on that, the program is being executed. It says hello. Similarly, I can write a program here as well. L is equal to 10, B is equal to 20, and A is equal to L length multiplied by breadth, and then print A. So this looks like a pseudocode in fact, but it is a Python. These are all Python statements. If I click on this, I will get this 200. Okay. So one thing is I can save this program. So I can go here and save all, something like that. I can save. Okay, or you can right click on save scratch. Okay, you can type the program and you can execute it. Once everything is okay, you can save it into a file. So one method is executing from the command prompt or interactive shell, and second thing is using integrated development environment such as PyCharm. You can download this PyCharm. One moment. You can Google, actually. You can Google, in fact. Yeah. So this is PyCharm Edu. You can Google for this word and you will get the link actually. So this is a free version and it has enterprise version also. So it will be available on Mac, Windows and Linux. So it is more popular among the industry. So most of the organizations, they are using PyCharm. In fact, this PyCharm itself is designed in Python. Okay. So we have Anaconda is also there. Further is from Anaconda. This is also another thing, and you can download this Anaconda. But basically, Anaconda comes along with 2.7 version automatically. Okay. Yeah. So this is where you can install PyCharm, and it is very easy to install. You can download. So if I Google it, PyCharm Edu, I use Bing actually. So this is the thing. You can right click. So you can download. It is coming up. So it's pretty straightforward, and you can install and you can download here. And okay. So it's very simple, and then we know how to write. Now the next part is how to write a program using a source file. Say I want to calculate. I will use a file. L is equal to 10, B is equal to 20, A is equal to L multiplied by B, and print A. This program I will save in a file. So save as Python. Okay. So workbook and basics. So I will take it as save. This is area of rectangle. Area rectangle. So already some files are there. So what I will do, I will give area rect2.py. Py is the extension that indicates it's a Python program. Now I saved it in the directory, that is basics directory. So I will go to the directory, and so D directory, then so here I have that file area rect2. So that file is there. So how can I execute this file? So Python is the command, and area rect2 is the file name. Enter, press enter key. So it is calculated, it is executed, and you get the result 200. Okay. So three ways you can execute the program. One is interactive shell. Second one is PyCharm, integrated development environment. Third one is a source file. And using source file, you can execute the Python programs. Okay. And this Python extension is not necessary actually. So The same program, I can put it in another file. This time I will save it as with a text file. Save as. I will rect2.txt. Instead of Python file, I'll save it as text file. And I can execute it, in fact. So if I say, we have two things here, two files are there. I just created. And Python is the command area rect2.txt. It is executed and you get the result. It indicates, it means that the extension is not, py extension is not mandatory, but it is advisable and good practice to give source files as .py extension. Okay. I will tell you there is a separate chapter on modules. I will explain at the time why we require to give this .py extension. All right. Any questions? Right. So this is the way you can execute the programs, and so then we have basics. Installation is over and basic. First steps, I just mentioned. First steps, you can go to the operating system, terminal, interpreter prompt. Using interpreter prompt, and you can see these three greater than symbols, and you can start typing the Python stuff, and you can get the results. Okay. This slides explains that, very simple. And then how to come out of the interactive shell, that is also one question. Python, if I enter into interactive shell, how to come out of this? One thing is you can type exit function, you can come out. And second thing is you can press Control C to come out that. On Windows, you press Control C. On Linux and Mac, you press Control D, D for David. Okay. So this is the thing you have to, and using the source file, the editor is important. In order to write Python programs, choosing an editor is like most of the people, organizations, they use some Notepad or Notepad++. But what I suggest, this Visual Studio Code, this is from Microsoft, a trusted source, and it is free forever. You can download it and it will highlight the reserved words. Look at this program. This is a Python program, and the print statement, which is a print, is a reserved word that is highlighted in blue color. So it also supports a lot of programming languages, not only Python. It supports C, C hash, C, C sharp, C++, all these things like HTML, then JSON, Java, JavaScript, and Makefile, Objective-C++, PHP, Perl, and Python, R, etc. It also supports SQL as well. Okay. Shell script also it supports. So that means if you write a program in this editor, it will highlight the reserved words in blue color. That is advantage. And thing is, it is free forever. Okay. Now, where we are, first steps, yeah. So you can create a Python source file, and you based upon the editor. So like why I say that it is good editor is important. So here in Python, the indentation is important when you write the program. So the first character should begin with the first space, first line of the program, beginning of the line. It should begin, the statement should begin at the beginning of the line. I cannot give a space like this. Then it will complain because indentation is very strict in indentation. Okay. So if you use if statement or while statement or false statement, automatically the corresponding spaces it will take 4 spaces. So that is reason why I insist on choosing a good editor is important when you write Python programs. So for example, you take this PyCharm, it's a good editor, it also has an editor. Suppose if I say if L is equal to 10, And the next statement begins, it takes 4 spaces. The if block begins, it takes 4 spaces, and print L, say, this way I can write. Okay. So this is the if block. Similarly, while block or for block, it will take the appropriate spaces. So normally the recommended spaces, 4 spaces you have to give when you use if statement, if you write if block or while block or functions basically. Okay. Any questions?
No, sir.
So basically, the editor automatically takes you to the 4 spaces. That is reason why choosing a good editor is important. So then we have source file and PyCharm. You can use it. So you can download codevisualstudio.com. You can download it from this website, this editor, and I will give you in chat window. You can download. If you have already downloaded, it's okay. And using the source file extension should always be py, and you can save it in any folder, and that is the thing. And this is the screenshot hello.py I used. It consists of only one statement, print statement, python hello.py. It prints hello word. It is executed and show the result here. Okay, so I'm just rushing. These are the basic things. Probably if you have any questions, just let me know. So at the time of demo also, I explained this. Again, I'm explaining because Vijay didn't have this. So Mani already attended second
Yes,
class.
sir.
Yeah. So Python is case sensitive in the sense that this print and this print, they pronounce same, but the spelling is, the P is written in uppercase. They are not same. Okay. So Python is case sensitive. So if I use A here, small letter, and if I use uppercase A, it complains. And if I execute it, it throws an error saying that A is not defined. Uppercase A is not defined. That indicates that these identifiers are case sensitive. Okay. And when you write, all the result words should be written in lowercase letter. That is one condition. And you make sure that there is no space or tab before first character in each line. When you write the program, there shouldn't be any space here. Okay. All right. Suppose if I give a space intentionally, already it is marking red. That indicates there is an error here. So it says indentation error. So the name of the error is indentation error, and the description is unexpected indent. So these names of the errors are also important. With practice, you will remember all the names of the errors. So in order to handle runtime errors, so we need to know about these names, error names. Okay, how we can handle. There is a separate chapter on exceptions. So we'll discuss at that time. All right. Any questions?
No, sir.
Right.
No.
Right. So in order to get the help about any feature in Python, you can go to Python interpreter shell, interactive shell, and here you can type help and say, for example, I want to find out help on if statement, say for example. So help on if, it will display the syntax and everything, the description about the if. Similarly, if there are some built-in functions and you want to know how you can use them, for example, I want to find out length function. So it will give that, it says that return the number of items in a container. So number of things in a string, you want to find out the length of the string. Say name is equal to, say John, for example. And I want to find out the length of the name, this John, how many characters are there. and k is equal to length of name and print k. So it will print there are 4 characters in the string. So length function basically calculates length of the string or length of the list or length of the array. Okay. So help will give all the it is just like if you are familiar with Unix or Linux, there are some manual pages, man, and you give the command. It will explain how you can use a particular command in Unix. Similar to that, we have help command, and using interactive shell, you can say, for example, help on print statement, for example, how you can use print statement. So it describes about this. Okay, this is the syntax.
Okay, will this help function works in PyCharm also?
PyCharm, yeah, I think it has, I am not sure. We'll see that. Help, it will not work. So let me write
Okay.
help and say print. So if I execute it, yes, you're right. It is giving all the information.
Okay.
So this works in PyCharm as well. This is the syntax, like how you can use. And file, this is the explanation of each component. What is a file, what is separator, what is end, what is flush, etc. Okay. And also you can find out help on help. So how to use help command. So help on help, you click on that, you will get everything actually. Okay. And so help, this will be helpful to find out, figure it out, any feature, how it works out and all that. So help on help also you can find out. Then we have basics, like, so we'll start with now we want to take some inputs, process them, and then get something out of it. Normally we use constants and variables to represent the entities in any program. Say in this program, for example, in the previous program, I used 2 variables, L is equal to 10, B is equal to 20, A is equal to L multiplied by B, and print A. This is a small program to calculate area of rectangle. Here, L and B are variables, and 10 and 20 are number, or in other words, they are number constants, numeric constants. Okay, so we call them as numeric literals. Instead of saying numeric constants, we can also call them as numeric literals, because we are literally using these values in our program, and the value doesn't change. If I say 20, it represents some quantity or some things, and it doesn't change its value. But whereas B is a variable, it can take 20 at this time, at this point of time, in line number 2. After some time, it can take any other value. B is equal to, say, 200. It can take that value because B is a variable. So now we'll understand what are the literals, how many types of literals are there. We'll see one by one. So this is. So we'll use constants and variables in our programs, in every program most. So we'll understand what are those. So before that, I would like to explain about comments, how you can write a comment in the Python program. Using hash symbol, you can write a comment. Comments are ignored by the interpreter. So comments are useful for the programmer and the peers who review your program. Okay, comments can be written anywhere on the line, before the statement or after the statement or at the beginning of the line. Like that, you can write down the comments. So comments basically will be helpful to understand the program, what for you are writing the program. So this program calculates, you explain about the calculates the area of rectangle. Simple program actually. So this is a comment. So here you can write down, after the statement you can write down length, and here it is breadth. So you can write only one line comment, but Python doesn't support multi-line comments. So if I want to write multiple lines as a comment, it is not possible in Python. So you have to prefix with the hash symbol to write down each line. This is all this takes two inputs. Like that you have to explain. Okay, you have to write down. So basically comments will explain what you are trying to solve, what for the program is written for, what are the assumptions you are making in the program, what the problems you are trying to overcome in the program, etc., etc. You can describe as a comment. And when you execute the program, these comments are ignored by the interpreter and they will not be executed. So this is for understanding the program. Normally in software companies, what happens, they hire the employees, programmers, and they start writing programs, and after a couple of years, they work and they resign. And the company hires new employees. And sometimes what happens, the new employee, new programmer needs to modify the existing programs based upon the requirements. So he has to look into the program and what for that program is written for. And if he understands, he can modify the existing program and he can implement the new requirements. Okay. So comments are essential, and most of the organizations, they insist to add comments. They have some coding standards. So when you join in a project, they will tell you use comments as much as possible. Okay. They have some coding standards. Every organization has some coding standards. All right. So this is an example, and code tells you how, like how the program, how you are solving the problem, but comment should tell why you are writing certain statement. Okay. So you can easily understand what the program is doing with the help of comments. And literal constants, there are two types of constants. One is integer, another is real number or floating point number. So 5 is a whole number that represents an integer, and 1.23 is a literal or a constant, numeric constant. It is a real constant. Okay. Similarly, we have strings written in double quotes. So this is a string. It itself is a string written in double quotes. This is also a constant. Or you can write it is a string. So this is also a constant. Okay. So why I am saying this constant, because the value will not change its value. Suppose if you say name is equal to John, the name of the person is always John. He will not change frequently, right? So that's why we call it as constant. So we are using literally in our programs. That's why we call them as literal constants. There are two types, right? Numeric constants are there. Numeric constants are numeric literals and string. So again, in numeric, you have two types. One is integer. In fact, Python doesn't have data types. You don't have to declare a variable which holds a particular data. So then we have real or float. Okay. And string type. We do not have a char data type. Single, if I write something like say single quote M in single quote, this is also treated as a string. Say if I have gender is equal to M and print M, print gender, what will happen? This gender is a variable holding a string value, though it consists of a single character, and this is treated as a string. Okay. Any questions?
No, sir.
All right. And integers and floats. Floating point numbers, how you can write floating point numbers? So using decimal. So the exact float is this one. And for integers, we'll write small a, like short form of integer, int. So this is float. Okay. So examples of integers are say 2, 56, like that. Examples of floating point numbers, it is 2.34 or 0.234, or you can have a whole number 25.0. This is also treated as a floating point number. Strings can be written using double quote, single quote. Single quote say this is say John. You can write a name as John, that is a string, and also you can use double quotes Kevin, that is also a string. So it depends upon the programmer. He can use single quotes and double quotes. When you beginning of the string is a single quote, the end should also be a single quote, and beginning of the string is a double quote, the end should also be double quote. You cannot have say beginning single quote and ending double quote. You cannot have. This throws an error. Also, strings are immutable. So I will explain you how the strings are stored. Say for example, strings are immutable. Name is equal to say John, okay, and internally it is stored like this. Internally it's stored like a list. So J, and we have H and O and N. Like this it is stored. Okay. So this is capital. Right. So I can access individual elements. Suppose I want to access only the first element. The index is 0 actually here. So if I write John, this is stored as a list, and the individual elements are accessed using indexes. The index of J is 0, and H is 1, O is 2, and this is 3. Okay. Now if I want to access only one character J, I can write down name, square brackets, 0. Okay. Now if I want to print this, it will print. Okay. So if I execute it, it prints J. Hello?
No, sir.
Yeah. So so with this I can say that these are immutable. The strings are immutable. That means once you have written, you cannot change. You can rewrite the entire thing. Say I can say name is equal to Kevin. I can write, but individual characters cannot be changed. Suppose if I try to assign instead of H, I want to assign some M. How can I do that normally? Because it stores like a name, and the index of H is 1. So 1 is name of 1 is equal to say M. It throws an error. I cannot change that. So strings are immutable. So if I say, it throws an error. Say string object does not support item assignment. This is not possible.
If we use the append command, will that work, sir?
Append command works only with list, right? With
yeah.
list.
Okay. So when we directly declare it as a list, then only we can use that, not in this case.
Exactly. That's true. Okay. You're right. Okay. So strings, you can use single quote and double quote. And when you write string, the spaces, we call them as white spaces, they are preserved as it is. So in this example, look at this, quote me on this. It consists of single space. Here it is space, here is space. So they are preserved as it is. So space and tab. Tab normally defined as 4 spaces, and they are preserved as it is. Okay. And you can use double quotes or single quotes to write down the strings. Say, what is your name, for example. So it is written in double quotes. And you can use triple quote. Okay. So this is a repetition for money, but I will explain once again. So this is a triple quote. Okay. Normally, triple quotes are used to write down multiple lines of strings, lines, a string written in multiple lines. Okay. So I will explain one more thing. Say I have, say this is a thing. So you can use single triple quote or double triple quote. So you can write down 3 times, double quote 3 times. Either way, you can use to write down the string. This is a multi-line string. Okay.
But this will take it as a comment, right?
This is treated as a comment, but in fact, internally, what is happening? There is a special variable or system variable, Python variable. The name of the variable is _doc _. Okay. This information, this whatever you write in this triple quote, this entire thing is stored in this variable.
Okay.
Suppose if I say print, and it will print as it is.
Okay.
Right. So normally, it's a trick actually to make it treated as a what you call comment normally.
Okay.
But internally it stores. Only at the beginning of the program you write a string in triple quotes that will be stored here. Subsequently, if you write any string in triple quote, that will not be saved in this doc in this way. So for example, I will write another string, say this is a test.
But Srini, for comment we use hash, right?
Hash, yeah, for a single line only. Comments are used for single lines only.
Okay.
Single line comments. Okay. So let me explain this. This is a test, and this is another line. Another line. So this is some other line. I put it in quotes. So there are two strings, two triple quote strings. This is one, this is another, right? Now, if I use print doc, which one it will print?
The first.
The first one. Always it takes whatever you write at the beginning of the program, that will be stored here in this variable. Okay. And this is treated as a comment normally because it is ignored. So there is nothing to save it, right? So if you leave it, the program, this is executed, but there is no space there is no reference to this string actually, in fact.
Okay.
So normally it's a trick to write down multiple lines as a comment, make it as comment, right? So this is all about triple quotes, and this is the thing. And next we have strings are immutable, and there is no char data type in Python. And even if you write a single element, I mean single character in single quote or double quote, they are treated as string literal. Okay. Now, how to format the output? Say I want to display some output. I have written some strings, and I use some strings, and I want to generate an output. So this format is a method or a function. This is a built-in method or built-in function, which is used along with the print statement to generate the report or to display the output in a specific format. Okay. These two programs demonstrates that. So I will walk you through these programs. So string format. Okay, this is the thing. Okay, let me open this. Look at this. My output, this is the age is equal to 20. First name is equal to John. Okay. And my output should be like this. John was 20 years old when he wrote this book. this I want to get as an output, and these are the two variables. First name is a variable and age is another. So I use print statement to print the values of these variables. So I use blank curly braces, string begins print, and quotation begins was and years old when he wrote this book. Dot format. So this is the string, it will be printed as it is, and these curly braces are placeholders. And this format method takes two values, first name and age. Okay, the value of first name is John and the value of age is 20. So this first placeholder will take the value of first name, which is John. So John was, and second placeholder is age, which is 20. So John was 20 years old when he wrote this book.
So basically, we'll use curly braces whenever we call dot format, right?
Exactly. That's true. Suppose if I have another variable, say address is equal to, say, New York, for example, and I can add this book. He lives in, and I will put a curly braces. Here in the format, I will add this address. Okay. So if I execute this, John was 20 years old when he wrote this book. He lives in New York.
Okay.
So these are the placeholders. So format method will take these as values, and the corresponding values are placed here. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So the order is important. So you can write down age, for example, age, then name, but you will get a different result. First name, right? First name. So we'll get a different result altogether. Look at this. 20 was John years old when he wrote this book. So you should give the appropriate order. So the index here, it should be first name, and here it should be age. Okay, clear? And next, line number 5, look at this. Y is placeholder playing with that Python, and format first name. So first name is value is John. So why is John playing with that Python? You will get this. Okay, any questions?
No, sir.
Right. So I designed another program on format. This is simple, and this is, look at this. You have this 0, 1. It is same as previous program, but in the previous program I did not mention anything, just blank curly braces. But here mention 0, 1 like that. If I add any address, say for example, address is a variable, and say New York, and I add this, he lives in, so I will put 3 curly braces, that is 2. Okay. Quickly, I will take this call. One moment. I will be back in a minute. Okay. All right. So you understood this, how these are the placeholders. So 0, 1, 2 like that. So you can add here address. Okay. Clear? So if I execute, you will get the same result, but instead of blank curly braces, I am putting 0, 1, 2 like that. Okay. Actually, this should be my first uh, example, and the format 2 should be first one, and format 1 should be the next one. That should be the sequence. then you will understand. It would be easy. Any questions here?
No, sir.
Right. So this is all about format, how you can format. And I have some examples on format. So let me execute and explain the concept, how we can use using. If you don't understand, I will make it simple. So what I will do, x is equal to 1.0 and y is equal to 3 and z is equal to x by y, and print z or z. So here, instead of this, I will put z. Okay. Now this is a regular print statement, and this is 0 is the placeholder, colon, 0.3 f. F is the resultant number is a floating point number, which is the real number, and it consists of some decimal, after decimal point, 3 digits. 3 indicates 3 digits. If I execute it, you will understand. See, Z will print this value actually. So I'm formatting that. So I will need only 3 digits after decimal point. So that is reason why I use this 0.3.
So what is the significance of colon here?
Colon 0 indicates is the position of the first value in the format, and the colon colon indicates that you can format how many digits after the decimal point.
You can say it's a precision, right? You are defining here, right?
Exactly,
For the
precision.
colon.
Exactly, after precision, you are right. So because this is a number, I am putting decimal. This is precision. If it is a string, for example, let me take another example. If it
In
is
case if x, in case if x is equal to 6, then what does it prints?
so if it is a
Yeah.
6, yeah, let us take 6 by 3 is 2 point. So let us take this 2.0.
2.000. Okay. And 3 is the precision, and F stands for?
F is the floating point number. F
Okay, F is a
indicates it is
floating.
a float.
Okay. Yeah, floating.
And then we have another example with the strings, how you can format the strings. Say this example demonstrates that. So, oh, one moment, I will fix this. Yeah. So format, and I'm using straight away the string constant. So I could put it in a variable and use it, or else I can say greetings. Greetings is equal to say hello, hello, and I can use this variable name here. Okay. Now this indicates that 0 indicates the position of this value, and colon, and this is a specifying. What I am doing, this 11, the total length of the resultant string is 11 characters, and hello is how many characters? 5 characters. So total length should be 11 characters. It should precede with a star. If I execute, you will understand this. Look at this. 3 stars are preceded and 3 stars after this. And this caret, this symbol indicates that the string should be centered while printing. Okay.
Like if it is an odd numbers or like no, it's
11. So if I can say 12, for example, it's an even number. So look at this.
okay.
So 4 on the right hand side and 3 stars on the left hand side.
Okay, sir.
So how you can format? Normally when you deal with the numbers and you are generating some invoices and all that. So normally we write like this, right? Say the total, or in words we use like this star and all in real time scenarios. Could you visualize that? when you generate you want to generate an invoice, for example. Invoice, you quote some number, description of the products and etc. Products or services, and you put the amount. And at bottom of the thing, you mention in words or something like that. And normally we do like this. Okay. All right. So then you can also use straight away the instead of variables, you can use in keyword arguments. We call that as keyword. So here, right. So name wrote book. Name is the name of the variable. So name is equal to John. In the format method itself, you can put this name is like variable and its value, variable and its value. Okay.
Do we need this variable defined under format, or just we mention John and comma and Python?
So you can straight away write down John and Python. Okay. Instead of book and all that. Here you can close this. I mean, make it empty. So John wrote Python, right?
Okay.
Or else, if you want to make it more clear, name is equal to John and
Yeah.
book is equal to Python. And you can mention the name here. That is the, just like parameters here, name and book are like parameters.
Yeah, got it.
Is equal to. So then print statement, we'll understand what is a print. Actually, when you observe the print statements, each line will be printed on, everything is printed on each line. Suppose if you have multiple print statements, for example, print hello. This is another print. So word. So it will be printed in 2 lines. Look at this. That means there is an invisible character, \n character is there always. So \n is to go to the next line. It will instruct print statement to go to the next line. Okay. Suppose if I use \n, look at this, see the output, how it will be. There is a gap here. So every print statement has invisible this \n, that is a new line character. \n is a new line character. It will be there with each print statement. Okay. So to prevent this new line character from being printed, you can specify that it should end with a blank. Say I want to print, in this example, it has come hello and world. So if I execute it, you see this hello world. But my output should be hello world. Even though I write 2 print statements, my output should be hello world like this. So in order to get this output, what we need to do? So for that reason, in the first print statement, I will use end. End is equal to, I will use some blank. Okay. That means the next print will concatenate, the next print statement will, the value will be concatenated with the first print statement. So look at this, hello. And you can use, this is an empty string, you can use star also, multiple stars. So, okay. And if I can, you can have space here, it will print hello world. All right. Any questions?
No stress.
Okay. So I will stop here for today and we'll continue our discussion tomorrow onwards on print statement. Okay. We'll see how you can print differently, all those things. So just we started with the basics. So let me know if you have any questions, Vijay and Mani.
Nothing from my end.
Okay, okay. Right.
Everything is good, sir. But I have a small question like whatever we are learning now, it's related to the application development, right? Not towards networking.
Sorry, say it again.
Like the course, what we are learning now is related to the application development, right?
Yeah, yeah. You can design once you undergo once you take this course, you will be able to design the application. So the application could be a database application, a web application, or it could be a network application, anything.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
got
Then.
it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Uh,
Bye. Good night.
bye. Thank you very much. Have a great one, and see you tomorrow.
Okay, sir.
Bye bye.
Bye.